Good evening. My name is Brightops, and welcome to Mordheim, City of the Damned. First off, I would like to thank those who took the time to watch my first video. Your compliments and encouragements were highly welcomed. I would also like to thank those who took the time to vote on what kind of warband I would be playing for this series, and honestly, I was surprised to find the votes split in 3 different ways. Finding myself somewhat impatient to get started, I decided to use an online dice roller to break the deadlock and come to a final decision. So with a combination of democracy and chance, we will be following a band of human mercenaries into Mordheim. While the Skaven and Sisters of Sigma missed out this time around, in the event that I start a new series sometime in the future, I promise that they will be the frontrunners for consideration. Now, one of the mechanics of Mordheim is that it has something of a legacy system. When you start playing the game and level up your first warband, it starts to unlock things that can be of assistance to you later on, if you decide to start from scratch with a new band of adventurers. I'll get a bit more into detail about one of the primary ways this takes form in another video, but the only thing you'll need to be aware of at the moment is the option to start a new warband itself at a higher level. The higher level warbands have a few bonuses to them, but the main ones you need to worry about is the fact that it allows you to hire more people and bring more people to the field. We will not be taking advantage of this, so we will be starting at level 0.
Yeah! So, you've decided to brave the City of the Damned in search of gold and glory. There's no shortage of those who've tried before you. If you look hard enough, you'll find their bones littering the ruins. Mordheim doesn't forgive mistakes, so you'd better not make any. I'll say this for you. You've taken the first step to surviving. You've had the good sense to seek out Luther Wolfenbaum. I've forgotten more about this city than you'll ever learn. Listen to me, and you just might leave this place with the fame and fortune you're after. I'm not sure what oaths and vows bind you to Baron von Leitdorfer's service. I'm not really interested in the imperial pretensions of Reichland's Grand Prince either. You need to concentrate on one thing only, and that's the task immediately before you. Aye, there's Wordstone in the ruins, ready for the taking. But there's other things in the ruins too. You've got those murdering maniacs from the Rock, ready to kill anyone they find with even the smallest shard on them. They're bad, but even worse are the degenerates who've taken to worshipping the comet that smashed Mordheim. They're twisted in both mind and body, and will happily dump your body into the pit as an offering to their Shadow Lord. You'll even see things you wouldn't believe prowling the ruins. The verminous underfolk, the Skaven of legend, are quite real, I assure you. They'll steal your Wordstone and gnaw your bones, given half the chance. Aye, the dangers are great, but if you were cowardly, you'd never have made the journey here. There's treasure to be had, if you're bold and ruthless enough to claim it. This city chews up the timid and the weak, so remember that, and keep your men strong. Do that, and you might just survive.
And after a welcoming word from our faction handler Luther, we've arrived at the hideout. In between missions, this is where we will come to manage our warband and do a variety of other things. But let's get started, shall we, by actually hiring people to fill up our warband. I would take the time to actually pick what the warband's name is, but I decided that can wait till next video. I'm more than happy to hear some feedback from my followers and those who watch the video for possible names for our little group. And if any of them stand out that I happen to like, I'll happily pick that as the name. But anyway, onto the hiring process. First off, we will start with our leader, the captain of our warband. We will be doing some slight editing just to speed things up a bit. If just 1 second. And by the power of editing magic, we have our warband. So far, we have currently got Captain Cyclone, who is our leader. He has requested the color green. I have done the best I can. I've also gone out of my way to equip him with a helmet and some heavy armor, so that he might actually survive for a while. We also have Miss Lana, our smuggler, who is wielding a quite lovely-looking rifle right there, and I know for a fact has some swords, has a sword and a dagger in case of closing to melee. And our last subscriber character so far is Serious Armor. He has requested black. He requested black and silver for his coloration, but black and white will have to do. I have also decided to equip him with a giant's two-handed sword. Now, we also have our 2 other mooks here. They are currently up for grabs. I will happily edit them as subscribers make themselves available. But anyway, let us get on with our first match. Now, we are now currently on the campaign screen, which gives us the options of what mission, and from the screen at random every week we have the option of picking what we want to do from the various options. Now, these little icons, the various icons, can imply what the bonus objective of the mission is going to be. Like, for example, the 3 currently available missions are marked for death missions, where the secondary objective is to hunt down particular members of the enemy warband, kill them, and loot a token from their body to prove that you did. Now, with side objectives like that, you don't have to do them, but for completing them you gain a substantial amount of XP to all of your people, allowing them to level up faster. Which granted, victory also provides XP, but having a massive bonus on top of that is very helpful. Now let's just have a look at what we've got. We might as well go with this one. We've got our warband ready to go. Let's go and have some fun.
Believing yourself alone in what was a residential district, you spread your warband to ransack the nearby houses. Just as your warriors are starting to explore the buildings, however, an enemy warband arrives, ready to attack your dispersed forces.
Well, not the greatest Normally, depending on the scenario, also can pick just how you deploy your troops. In this case, we do not get to pick how we're deployed. We are but deployed at random, and considering since each different faction has their own particular token, we are up against a Chaos Warband, or the Cult of the Possessed in this case. Oh. My mistake. I mistook a couple of normally when this sort of scenario raises up, it just deploys you at random and calls it a day, but this must be a you get to pick where you go kind of deal. Let's see, let's just have a look at the map. Having a look. Let's see. Okay, I've got an idea of where I want my people deployed. Yes, unfortunately you do have to kind of circle through all the options. It's annoying, but it's what you have to do. you. So. Should we just put it there? And where will Captain Cyclone go? Here is good. Now, the way that rounds work is it is based somewhat of initiative. Each individual character has its own initiative, and various factors can affect this, such as what their equipment is, or what kind of armor they've got. Unfortunately, we have currently our forces are for the most part slower than the enemy warband, but however, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Because if they're faster than us, it generally means they're more lightly armored and armed, which can be a very useful thing to have when it comes time to fight. And fight we will. Just taking some money, because money is always good. And we'll just have him take an ambush stance. He'll just create a sort of a zone around him. If any enemy walks into it, he will charge at them and hit them really hard in the face, which is always fun to have. But yes, our current objective at the moment is to, well, win. And there are a variety of ways one can win. Mostly by kicking the absolute hell out of the enemy. But side objectives, in particular, is to find Wordstone, which is kind of the overall goal of the Warband. Kind of your overall goal is to collect the Wordstone from the field of battle. And in this particular case, because as I said, this was a Marks for Death match, find 2 particular members of the enemy team and make them die. Particularly before killing the rest of them. Let's see, where... oh... yes. For those of you curious how I can change the map like that, you have the option of viewing things normally, such as how we are now, and viewing things from a more top-down perspective. And this can allow you to find things like Wordstone, where the enemy currently is or where they were last seen, or it just gives you a general idea of how the map is set up, which can be incredibly useful. We've got an idea of where the enemy is, but he is not the enemy we're looking for. At least not yet, anyway. As for why I'm going out of my way to collect the Wordstone, if you can gather enough of it, every so often, your warband will get a mission from your patron to send at least a certain amount of stone to them, a certain amount of tonnage, and thus having a supply of it handy is generally pretty useful.
A new round has started.
It is also your main source of income, for even if you're not meeting the required shipments, you can also send it to some of the stone to other sources for cash and reputation. Let's see, just waiting for the enemy to move. As for who gets what the targets tend to be, usually you'll get one of their heroes will be a target. but it can vary. It varies depending on circumstance. It, it can honestly get a bit weird at times. Let's see, where is this stone? Alright, it's over here. Am I just not seeing it? Maybe it's in... Huh. Oh, wait. Ah, yes. No? No? Huh. Well, I have no idea where the stone is then. That's just weird. Ah yes, for those of you wondering, you have a certain number of movement points, which is this blue circle that I'm leaving behind as I'm moving around. And as long as you don't do any actions, you can move your length and backtrack as long as you're picking up the circles you leave behind. And we've got some action, and ooh, yes, I believe this is one of our targets. Always good. And I was right, it's one of their heroes, a mutant. Granted, he doesn't look very mutacious right now. Give him a couple of levels up. With the cults of the possessed, they gain mutations as they level up. Since we're currently fighting at a low level, at a very low level, they haven't really gained those mutations yet. Does not mean he doesn't hurt like hell, though. Let's see. But yes, we have at least one target, and while he can hit more than us, good serious armor there can do a lot more damage to him. Which the benefit of having a giant sword. Second target has presented itself, and it's the Warband leader. The Cult of the Possessed is somewhat unique for a warband in that their leader is, well, one of their primary spellcaster. None of the other warbands have a spell... Well, I take that back. I haven't really played the Sisters of Sigma yet. And I know that they've got clerics. I'm not sure if their leader can actually cast spells. But we'll see. Our targets have presented themselves at least. And they're two big dogs too. This can be bad. But yes, as I was explaining, ways to actually win this battle. There's a couple that are available. For one is, of course, killing all the enemy, but that actually comes up fairly rarely. Since usually what will happen is the enemy will break before... If you take out enough of the enemy, take up enough members of a particular warband, they will turn tail and run. The rest of the warband will break, their morale will give up, and they will turn tail and run. And we just got critted. That is not a good thing. Ooh, that is bad. Because, as you can see, critting has the unfortunate problem of it takes away a lot of your movements and action points. So he cannot actually attack this turn, which is a bit of a problem. Now, in the event that Sirius does go down, going down does not necessarily mean you're dead. It just means that you have a chance of rolling on the injury table. Now, you don't actually see what the table is or anything. It happens post-battle. But let's see, where the hell is... Okay, I have gone the wrong direction with you. This could be bad. Whoops. Ah yes, another thing scattered around Mordheim are traps. Now sometimes we just saw they can be beneficial, like that gave us a buff of some kind. But usually they will be bad. There will be some negative debuff to come with it, or you'll just take damage directly. Second swing! And that's one target down. No more spells from you, boy. Uh-oh. And I thought Sirius was in trouble before. It does not look good for him. We will just take this.
Objective completed. Objectives updated.
Let's see, where is... Okay. Not great. I can't help him this turn, so Sirius is probably down. Yep, he did not do... He hasn't made it. Shit. On the plus side, his target we were already after anyway. So, if nothing else, we can avenge him, and anything the bastard stole from him, we can just get back. See, I will admit, archers aren't the greatest, but depending if you can position them right, they can be incredibly useful. Right. And Miss Lana is clearly earning her paycheck. Let's see. And I will admit, with Cyclone, my greed got the better of me. Ah yes, also, another thing of note, positioning is very important in this game. For
a new round has started.
Do you see this red circle that is around this mook here? Well, that's very important because each character has an area of control around them. That the enemy can. In this case, if I had wanted to, I could have very easily teamed up on this guy by bringing in another, by bringing the mook before, but I just decided to send him elsewhere. But that area of control is very important because that area can decide if I could sneak up on someone correctly, coming at them from the right angle. I could effectively negate someone's ambush by just attacking them straight up. And that's for serious, you little shite. Okay.
Objective complete.
He's out of room. Not good. Not good at all. Still, that can be fixed. Oh, wait. Or not. Guess with their two heroes down, they gave up and died. Hurrah! And here's just a little objective. Because we met a bonus objective, we get some extra XP. Miss Lana is our most valuable warrior, for she did the most damage. And we gained some additional stuff that we just picked up from the battlefield itself.
A warrior needs a bit of luck and a lot of skill to win a battle. But most of all, he needs strategy. You have managed to find the winning mixture. Now just be careful not to lose it.
Alright, just waiting for loading. We'll show some of the aftermath. Just basically people leveling up. You'll do some level up. Serious armor took it amnesia, which isn't the worst that could happen, especially at this point. See, there are a variety of injuries. What amnesia does, all it does is, as you can read, is it removes 5 XP points from the particular character. If this was later on, this could have been fairly bad, but at this early juncture, since he hasn't actually earned XP, it's not as bad as it could have been. Unfortunately, he probably will not gain XP this time around. Oh wait, I was wrong, he actually managed to gain 1 point. Nicely done. And we'll just do the rest. We gained a proper shield, and we'll just pay the warband, just cover the costs, because after all, these people are mercenaries, they like to get paid for their services. And I guess this will just be where we leave from here. My name is Brightops, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I will see you next time.